Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hello, thanks for coming to my session. I want to thank the team for having me in and the volunteers for their help. I'm pleased to be here today, ready to clean and reshape data with Power Query in Excel. It's one of the best parts of designing and delivering analytical reports. I'm Ana Maria Bisbe, data analyst, BI trainer and consultant, Microsoft partner in Power BI. I'm LinkedIn Learning trainer in Spanish with 2 courses translated into English. I'm a data platform MVP. Let's talk about the importance of query combining. Data comes from different sources. The structure of the data could be the same, could be different. The most important task is to reshape the data for the tabular model. The data quality and business requirements will create the necessity of query combination. This session will look at the importance of query combining. We will answer the question, when is not a query combination a step that merges 2 queries? We will demonstrate several scenarios in which combining queries could be the perfect solution for the optimal tabular model. We will be combining queries to identify entities and attributes, to take care of the design of the fact table, and to solve data quality issues. Okay, let's start. When is a step not a combination? In Power Queries, there's situations where the step that considers more than one query is not a combination of them. For example, duplicate queries. When we duplicate queries, there will be no relationship or dependencies between the original and the duplicated query. Here we have the original products and the duplicated here. We have no relationship or dependencies between the two. If we look at the query settings for both queries, we realize that there are the same steps. The steps are the same. This action is not a combination of queries. Another example is reference queries. There will be a dependency between the original query and the referenced query. Looking at query settings for both queries, we realize that the reference queries has just one applied step, source, that points to original query. This action is not a combination of queries. It creates a dependency between the two. Third example is the Cartesian product between 2 non-related queries. Here we have 2 queries. They are not related, unrelated, and there are not columns for combining them. The solution here will be to create an additional column, type the name of the second query. The result is a column that contains a table in each row, and then we can expand values, and this action is not a combination of queries. So we are looking at merge, we are looking at append actions when we talk about the combination between the two queries. These are actions that use one or more queries for obtaining another one. Okay, let's see our first demo. Here I have the Excel file and Power Query open already. Here is our product table or query, and if we select this option duplicate from this query, we obtain this new query with all the steps, and there is not a relationship between the two. That means if we change anything for this query product, change will be not applicable to the duplicated. There is a different approach if we reference query. In this case, the result will be just one step that points to the first query. And if we use the query dependencies view, we are able to see, here we have the best view. Here we have products. From products to products reference, we have a link between the two. And if we analyze products duplicate, here we can see that there is not relationship or link or dependencies between the two. The third case is when we have product combination between the two Cartesian product. Here we have our color query, and then the steps are add columns from here, from add columns, custom column, and expand column. And in this case we have a table, and for each row we have the info here. Okay, so expand, and here we have all the rows that combines the two information between two non-related queries. Okay, let's continue. The first reason for combining queries is to identify model entities and attributes. Let's see case 1. We have several sources with the same structure. In this case we have 3 months, the same information, the same structure, the same columns we need for this case. Do not need 3 entities in our model. The solution is to append, because they represent the same entity. For example, sales. Here we have the option in the menu append queries. Here's the result for them. Okay, let's see the following case. In the second case, the data source have different columns that describe the same entity. The first file, customer A, contains several columns about the customer. For example, name, last name, birthday, marital status, etc. And the second file, customer B, contains other columns that should be in the same and unique customer entity. Because if we create this kind of model, the relationship between the two will be 1-to-1. And the point is, we need just one entity that describes all the attributes about customer. The solution for saving our tabular model here is to merge queries. We need just one final query because all the columns belong to the same customer entity. This is the merge operation. We need to select two queries and then to select one or more columns for joining them. And then at the end we need to define the join condition. At the end we have all the columns in the final customer entity. If we have snowflake schema and we have some attributes in different tables, for example, here we have all the columns that describes customers, and additional we have one more table with some columns about the geography. Some attributes are in a different table. The best way to save the tabular model here is to merge queries and join columns, all the columns in just one query, all the columns that we need. That means the best option is the star schema. Here we can see all the columns. Okay, now I will open the second sample. Okay, let's see the demo about combining queries. Here we have the second sample. From data we can get and transform data, get data, and launch Power Query Editor. Let's see the samples I've prepared. Okay, I could increase the size. Here we have 3 months. I've already connected to the source. Okay, let's okay, refresh all for avoiding this kind of message. Okay, I have 3 months, January, February, and March. Why? Because I've already connected to the source and do the navigation steps to the each element in my data source. Okay, and then the solution here is to look at the menu, home menu, group combine, and option append queries. Here we have two options, append queries and append queries as new. In this case is append queries as new. And we have here the result. Another approach is to use the metadata. I will show you that if we connect just with the source and not doing the navigation to the special element, we can remove other columns and just look at the data we have in the elements in our, for example, Excel file. Then we can expand, promote, change, filter, and change type. Take into account that if we select the second parameter here, during the connection, we are able to connect directly to a data. That means take into account the header here. Okay, I will duplicate for showing you, I will duplicate, and for example I will remove all these steps until the end. Okay, this is our connection. The second step will be just take this column data. You can see here we have column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, the idea is to change this parameter, and if we select true, in this case we will obtain date, ID column, and quantity. That means the tables with the header. So if I select all the columns I have here and expand them, the result will be all the information we need for this case, that it's more easy than before. Okay, so in the third case we have a customer A and customer B, and just we did merge queries using the customer key for 2 tables, 2 queries, and using the join condition left, and the result will be 1 table in each row with all the information here. If we expand, here are all the columns together in just 1 query. And then the last examples in this demo is about, we have customer and we have information about countries and cities in another query. The solution is the same. Here we have the option for merge queries. Merge queries we will find in the Home tab, combine merge queries, and here we have merge queries and merge queries as new. In this case we just use merge queries and obtain the new table, expand, and remove the columns that we do not need. Okay, I will close all of these, don't save, and continue our presentation. Okay, so another use case for combining queries is to improve the dimension quality. For example, in this case we have a weak dimension. It needs more attributes, and we have also a fact table. In this case we need business requirements. The business requirements are to obtain product type, level of sales, and volume. Okay, let's see. Here is our business dimension. It's weak because we have just 2 columns. We have no good attributes here for the segmentation of the analysis. And this is our fact table. Very easy, very simple. Is this just for showing you? Okay, business requirements, product type, level of sales, and volume. The idea is we have all that we need here in the fact table, and we just need to combine them, doing some operations here for obtaining these 3 attributes. Okay, let's see. The solution for this case is to merge queries and then aggregate the numbers. Instead of expand, we will aggregate the numbers. So merge queries from sales to catalog and then aggregate the numbers. The aggregation is the second option here. So we use expand and we have also aggregate. Here we have a lot of options, a lot of possibilities, a lot of functions, sum, min, max, count, distinct count, that we can apply depending on the business problem we are solving. As you can see, for example, my idea is count non-blank elements, in this case for ID product. Look at the minimum of date and sum of quality. So we must select the aggregation function for the required result. This is the obtained result. Now we have 3 new and temporary columns. Why? Because these values will allow us to obtain the attributes that we need. But these values are not good for the model because they could be very different. So they could be very costly to our model. Okay, the idea is the next step, looking at these columns, the next step is to add 3 conditional columns. If we have conditional columns, for example, we look at minimum of date. If the minimum of the date is null, that means never sold. If the minimum of date is before or equal than any date, is historic or is recent. In that case, we have just 3 values. If we have a lot of different values of date, at any case, we have just 3 values at the end. Because never sold, historic, and recent are the only results that we can obtain analyzing the column minimum of date. So we need to clean, and at the end the result is exactly that we expected. So ID product, name of product, product type, historic, recent, never sold, level of sales, good sales, regular sales, not sales, and volume, large, medium, 0. So we are looking to the sales fact table, and we obtain, using merge and using conditional columns, we are able to obtain the result. We have the model that meets the business requirements. Okay, let's see another case. Another reason for combining queries is to take care of the designing of the fact table. Here we have a white poor design fact table. Here we have date, product, country. In the fact table, 2 text columns. And also we have a dimension without the index column here. The best way to save the tabular model here and take care of fact table will be to remove duplicates from these columns and to remove duplicates and add an index column for the combination. So we need to remove the duplicates of combination. We are looking to the combination of the two, and then we add an index columns to the dimension table. Then we need to combine. In this case, the solution is one more time the combination of queries, but in this case we will combine by more than one column, taking care of the order of the columns. Here we have product order 1, country order 2, and this will need select for both queries. So for the catalog for the catalog is the same: product order 1 and country order 2. We need to take care of the order of the columns. At the end, we need to do some cleansing, reading of the text columns, because now we will have an index column. This is a number, a column that is has a type integer or number, and now our fact table is good, it's well designed. There's another sample. This is a final one. Will be to solve the data quality requirements because of the inconsistency of the data. We have two tables with some inconsistent data here. We have the information here about the two projects, two ID projects, two cases, 04 for 2021 and 05 for 2021, that do not have any operation, any information sorry, in our fact table. So we have project here, we have dimension, in the info of our dimension, but we have no information about the fact of these two elements. And we have also here the 08 project in the fact table that has not relationship between with the dimension table. So we have two tables with some inconsistent data. There's two projects, 04 and 05, in the first catalog project table that do not appear in the second sales table. And sales table shows that here we have one ID project, 08, that does not appear in the first catalog table. The solution here will be to merge queries using the anti-left join condition. When we use the anti-left join condition, we are looking at the data that are not related. The result after merging queries will be a table with a columns from catalogs on the rows that about the catalogs that do not match the sales tables. All the values of these expanded tables are null because we have no relationship between the two. We have here problems with our referential integrity. If we need to obtain the other case, for example, here we have the project that has some data in the fact table and there is not related information in our catalog table. This is especially very bad because if we create a report using this kind of information, we will obtain a blank value for this case because there is not there is no way for showing the information on the dimension table because there is not information. Okay, let's see our demo. I will open the file, look at data, get data, launch Power Query. Okay, let's do it bigger. Okay, Okay, now we have product for sales. This will be our initial product catalog, okay? And we have our information about the sales. So the date, the ID product, and the quantity. If we use all of this information, we can combine merge queries, combine the by first, okay, yes, in this case we will combine, this is the samples for merge and aggregate. We will combine, and here we obtain for each product all the information from the sales table. In this case we have 3 rows because this product was sold 3 times, 3 times again, twice in this case, and for the product number 4 we have no information here. This product was not sold yet. Okay, instead of expand, we will aggregate, and for the aggregation we obtain some information here. That means mean of date. Mean of date, it's the value that we will obtain is the first date that this product was sold. Count non-blank and sum of quantities. And this is the result. As you can see, we have just 4 rows here. But if we are in the real life, we will have a lot of rows and a lot of different minimum of dates, a lot of different count of ID products, and a lot of probably different values for sum on quantity. No problems, because the solution here is to add an additional conditional column for each of these cases. We need 3 conditional columns because we need 3 additional parameters or attributes in our dimension. So minimum of day, if we have at least one possibility of obtain a null value in any columns that we will use for the conditional columns, the evaluation, the null value will be the first option that we need to take. Okay, so minimum of date equal null, never solved. Minimum of date is before or equal 1 date, historic or recent. And the same for if we look at the count of ID product, we have no sales or regular sales or good sales. And for the third one, we have option to sum the values of column quantities, and the same. The volume is 0, the volume is medium, or it's large, depending on the condition. At the end, we have these 3 columns. These are the columns that we need, and these 3 columns are temporary. That means we will remove them using this option because the columns are not good for the model. We do not need them anymore. So now we have a very good dimension with ID product, name of product, product type, level of sales, and volume for each product, even if the product was never sold. Okay, so this is the first example in this block. The second one is about the definition of our fact table. Here we have a catalog. This is our catalog, and we have our cells here. Okay, the problems here is that we have two columns that are text. The type of these columns are text. This is not good for the fact table. Okay, let's see. The solution here is to remove duplicates, but take into account that we remove duplicates of both columns at the same time. So it's about removing the duplicates of the combination of the two. The same approach you can apply if you have three columns. It's the same. Okay, and now, because we have no duplicates values of combination, we can add the index. This value is unique for all the rows because we need this kind of unique values on the dimension table, and then we can combine the queries. We open the combination, and the idea here is to order the columns. Product is 1, country is 2, product is 1, country is 2. This is the case. And then we will take the index column from the catalog to the cells. We expand. Now we have index. As you can see here, the index value could be repeated. And it is okay, because if we are looking at the fact table, it is possible that one combination of product and country is sold more than one time in our fact table. Okay, now we have the information, remove the columns, and here we have our fact table well designed with just 3 columns. 1 column it's the date, data type, and 2 columns are numbers, integer numbers. Okay, and the last one, it's about the data quality. We have projects here, we have information, clean information from the beginning till the row 8, because we have here in the catalog project table dimension, but these two aren't applied any information in the project cells. And the most important problem here is the last row. We have one project in the cells fact table that has no related information in our dimension. The solution here is to apply a combination using the left anti-join. At the end, you can find the left anti, the right anti-join. That means rows only in the first table. I will find 8.4 and 8.5 for 2021 that have information in our project dimension table and not in the other table. This is the result, and here we have null values. The same as before we did for obtaining all the values that we have in the fact table, and using the left anti-join we obtain the values that we have not in our dimension table. Okay. So, how we can conclude this presentation? Combining queries could be the perfect solution for the optimal tabular model. For example, we can identify entities and attributes. We can, and we should respect the star model design. We use combining queries for protect the fact tables in our model and to do data quality tasks. Also, we can combine files. Combining files is some special way of combination. We can combine the data if we have several files with the same column structure, or if we have the skills to apply techniques for cleansing and combining files that have different structure. Power Queries provides in Excel a connector to a folder and then combines the content of each file. I add some resources for you in this presentation. My LinkedIn Learning courses in English, if you can look at this. We have some books and resources for study more here. Some books, several books in English. And that's it. Do not hesitate on contact me on my social neighbor. It was my pleasure to record this session for you. Please provide feedback on this presentation using the below link or QR code. And take into account that the Microsoft Excel team is seeking research participants. Thanks for your time. I hope you are enjoying the event. Best regards and goodbye.